He cites a surge in voter registration here in California, the state that has now become his primary focus, though he did find time Tuesday, Elaine, to call for a re-examination of the results in Kentucky, a state that Clinton won narrowly last week by fewer than 2,000 votes.
So, Nancy, are there conflicting messages from Senator Sanders here? He says he has a path to the nomination given the current delegate numbers, but he's also now contesting past results. Does that undermine his message that he still has a road to victory?
That's right. Well, basically, he's saying he's leaving no stone unturned in his hunt for enough delegates to overtake Clinton in some way. So certainly if he could pick up another delegate or two in Kentucky, that would help. If he could win big here in California, that would help, though he would need to win this state by a huge margin. He'd need to win more than 2/3 of the vote here in order to have any hope of catching up to Clinton among pledged delegates. And that's even before you factor in the super delegates who are overwhelmingly at this point going for Clinton, but who he argues would switch overnight if he made a big play here in California and showed them that he'd be stronger against Trump in the fall.
Well, Nancy, it's an interesting strategy from Hillary Clinton's allies, blaming Sanders for their sagging poll numbers against Trump. Doesn't blaming Bernie Sanders essentially amount to an admission that he is still a very strong presence in the race?
Yes, but they have to find some kind of argument for the fact that she has really slipped over the past month that doesn't involve Hillary Clinton herself. So there aren't that many options. And one thing that they're arguing is that whether Bernie Sanders is talking about Hillary Clinton or not, and at this point he isn't really mentioning her that much. He's really going after the Democratic Party itself more than he is going after Hillary Clinton. But they say that his mere presence in the race at this point is preventing the Democratic Party from coalescing around Hillary Clinton the way that the Republican Party has started to come to terms with the fact that Donald Trump will be their nominee because there's simply nobody left in the field.
Well, Nancy, we've heard Donald Trump citing some of Bernie Sanders' attack lines and using them against Hillary Clinton. Here's what Senator Sanders had to say about that Tuesday.
Aren't you concerned that you're just basically giving him an arsenal of ammunition?
Yeah. Believe me, I don't think I need to give Donald Trump an arsenal about anything. I think this man will insult and attack, and that's what he does. And they have many, many people doing Republican opposition research against Hillary Clinton.
So, Nancy, is the Clinton campaign concerned that Sanders' attacks could harm Clinton in the general election?
Absolutely. Especially because we saw again today that Donald Trump tweeted out, a litany of charges against Hillary Clinton, and he concluded with, above all, she just has bad judgment. Well, that is directly ripped from something that Bernie Sanders was saying about her a month or two back, which is that she lacks the judgment to be president of the United States. So, yes, Donald Trump does have a big arsenal to draw from. He's certainly got a lot of attack lines and doesn't necessarily need any more. But it's always powerful when you can say, look, even some candidates who were on Hillary Clinton's own side have A and B and C to say about her, and I agree with them. That's something that won't go away very quickly.
Nancy, Donald Trump also raised another issue from the Clintons' past, the 1993 death of Deputy White House counsel Vince Foster. It's labeled a suicide, but Trump called the case, quote, very fishy. What is the background on that?
The background is that for decades there have been conspiracy theories about Vince Foster's death, theories that perhaps the Clintons had something to do with it. Nothing along those lines was ever proven. There was never any evidence of that, but it does still lurk in the dark recesses of the web. And this is sort of on par with the birther conspiracy that Donald Trump ascribed to and was in some ways the leader of for many years, this argument that President Barack Obama actually was born outside of the United States and therefore was not eligible to be president of the United States. And so this is kind of a dog whistle to conservatives who have always felt that there's a bunch of things that are fishy about the Clintons, but it also sends a message, whether it is true or not, and certainly there is no evidence that it is true, that the Clintons have been involved in a large number of scandals over the years. And while Vince Foster his death may not have had anything to do with the Clintons. There are a number of other incidents that Donald Trump is lumping in with that, things like Whitewater, the Lewinsky scandal, that do have some truth to them and have sort of been hanging around the necks of the Clintons for several decades now.
General election fight well underway. Nancy Cordes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.